Hello guys, it's me Potato Milk. Today we'll be exploring and fixing some of CZ's weirdest bugs. This is not just a list, I'll actually try to explain how these happen based on my little game making experience, and remake some of them in good old Unity. Okay, we get it, fuck. I've been pissed at Ubisoft for not being able to fix the most median of bugs without disabling qzcje for 14 years, man. Come on. All those hours of Siege must have fried my brain. Most of these bugs have already been fixed, but I'm really just showing you the thought process of the Siege devs and what they did to patch things up. And remember, okay, my guesses aren't always right, so be as spectacle as you wanna be. Ubisoft uses an engine called Anvil Next that is way more different than Unity, so keep that in mind, okay? Otherwise, have fun, gang. Probably the most brain dead / funniest one of the list. Like, how do people even fucking discover this shit, man? Come on. You place down a Mozzie and a nitrocell on top of it. And that nitrocell, technically, is not stuck onto anything. For a reason I'll tell you guys in a second. And with the Mozzie gadget in hand, if you aim it just right, you can fucking shoot it into space like Ricky Fowler.
Ricky Dicky Doo-Dog rhymes.
Physical interactions in other games have always been hit or miss. In Siege's case, Mozzie's gadget, like many other gadgets in this game, have a special function that I'm pretty sure either uses a raycast, which is basically just a line that shoots from a direction and a position to something so I can detect exactly what's there, to tell what object it's gonna stick onto. Or, you know, in our case, what I'm using, a physics overlap box that is pretty much just a box that goes around the object and tells you whatever touches it. I've done this before, and I wanted to recreate it right here. Sorry for the placeholder models looking a little ugly. I used a stim pistol from my last video, because I couldn't find the Mozzie launcher model anywhere. Anyways, as you can see, whenever my drone thing attempts to stick onto anything except the terrain, it just doesn't. Because I made this here ladder tagged as nothing. It completely doesn't give a shit about these objects that don't include the tag, ready for this, chud in them. Oh god. So that's why it doesn't stick. So I threw another nitrocell on top of the drone that was already in place, and it carries the velocity of the drone that I just threw, as you can see on screen, and it flies away. Either Rainbow Six Siege used priority, so what object was instantiated in the beginning, which in my opinion is kinda unlikely because that would be a little weird. Or just a mass difference, like what I did in Unity. What I did here, as an overall bandage fix, that actually should also fix it in Siege as well, would be changing the mass of the nitrocell to something higher. Wait, what? It works? At the time of recording, it's not fixed. Ironically, I actually tried it with Sentry, and for some reason, it worked like 100% of the time. Instead of Mozzie, where I literally couldn't at all. Something with Mozzie's drone being just so tiny, so fucking small, and the threshold for getting this is like 1 in a million. I got the Sentry idea from this guy in YouTube Shorts. What a chad. I'm pretty sure this is also doable with Smoke and Fenrir, but who knows. I haven't really seen or encountered any bugs with Denari. He really seems like the first ever operator that releases without a game-breaking bug that could randomly crash a server once 2 trip connectors are together. Oh wait, that's what happened. This only happened once to me, because I saw a video of a guy doing it in a private server, and I was like, let's try that, more content, right? And it did crash me. Who could have thought? This was definitely fixed now, but obviously I can't really pinpoint how it would work in Unity, since maybe something with a multiplayer server fucked up, or a part of his code wasn't resolved before release.
Nah, they just fucked up.
RAM has this one way that was somewhat problematic in some maps. I honestly don't know. The last I played Siege seriously was like 15 years ago at this point.
And he gets to be a
Siege YouTuber.
What a sick show!
Anyways, throw a drone, shove a ram tank on top of it, move the drone out of the way, and see the ram tank floating before your eyes. I remember this did happen to me in a lobby, because it is just so easy to do, and provides like a 1% extra one-way advantage that literally like 5 people used in this whole entire world. Anyways, I've remade the tank in Unity. Here's the cute little model I made. How this works is a little raycast is set right under the tank to check if there's anything there. And a graph boolean variable called set is set to true. That's awful. Don't do this, please. It's set to true whenever anything is actually detected under there. And when the set is off, the physics are on, so this shit can move around. If it's on, it cannot move at all. Literally, the physics are off. no kind of gravity or external force could move this guy. The issue here is, if it already got set on the ground and something from the ground is removed, there is no code that outwardly turns the variable back to false and turn the physics back on for the tank to readjust and be closer to the ground instead of fucking floating there. So here, I fixed it by adding that very code. Fuck your one-ways. So let's check if they fixed it last patch, and they didn't. I would want to make a point here, since is it really that useful? Like, an OSA could practically do the same thing with full protection, and you also have grenades. Technically, you could probably put it in windows without the chance of nitrocells or really peeking your head, and the added benefit of the defenders not being able to see that red propane tank that destroys your RAM. Then again, OSA does have that thing, so I don't know what my point here is. Let me know what you guys think of this in the comments. Is it good? Is it viable? Does it suck balls? I don't know. Hold up, you're probably thinking the same exact thing I'm thinking of. Can hatches make this guy float even higher? No, it just falls. They must have thought of this because obviously maybe the ram tank itself goes to a hatch in its destruction path, but they didn't think of the drones. Okay, before continuing, I want to thank all the members for being so patient with me in the last couple of weeks. I've been very busy and the content is so dry right now. It's crazy that there's guys that even stick around at all. Thank you all, seriously. If you want to support this channel, just like and subscribe, and maybe even join the Discord. Link in the description. There's a bunch of weirdos there anyway, actually. Don't join. How the flizzy does this even happen? What part of the code turns this shit from qzcje to Paper Mario the 1000-Year Door?
I like that jump!
I took this part at face value in the thumbnail and the rest of the original script, as I thought it was just a one-time thing, like, oh yeah, sentries just got stuck in there. I wouldn't think I would go down such a weird and goofy little rabbit hole that consists of R6S competitive exploiters. This is one of the weirdest bugs, may I say exploits, I have ever seen, and the secretive nature of it definitely intrigued me even more. This is called a larrytech. Who's Larry? I don't know, man. Apparently, it's a bug slash overall exploit that only exists with PlayStations and Xboxes. So, you know, no PCs. I couldn't recreate this, sadly. For an example, because I couldn't find the Squished Man in the lounge of Clubhouse, let's go to Cash Room, where we see this here azami do the Radical Larry.
I got caught by Radical Larry.
Was that the bite?
So, he gets the highest vault prompt, vaults, then enters the quick menu of his PS5 home screen, turns off the internet, then turns it back on. This type of flag switching always reminds me of those days where some people just straight up fucking DDoSed Black Ops 2 servers in 2014 to make people stand still while they're shooting, like they fucking have deadeye or something. The funny thing is, about all of this, there's barely any documentation. Just a bunch of chuds that claim they got champ with this. Like, how the f do you even get champ? Yeah, I won't report this guy. Maybe like a new azami update, she can phase through fucking roofs. This was extremely interesting to research and brought me back to my chud days of life. Wow, how beautiful. This Deimos bug is the only real bug that could be somewhat game-breaking. All the other ones just suck and highly rely on luck. King Von Bar right there. So how it works, or rather how it worked. If you were Deimos and you wanted to turn on the death mark with your primary gun, all you had to do was stun yourself either with a Zofia stun grenade or just shoot a fire extinguisher as soon as you actually turn on the death mark mode. And you would be able to switch between your guns like you aren't even on that mode. This is particularly useful against Caveras and other roamers alike, because you don't just shoot them with a revolver that deletes just a small little tiny part of the wall. No, you're gonna bring out the fucking shotgun and break the wall oryx style, okay? I'm guessing what happened here was, by the way, these guns are from my game, shameless plug. Whenever you shoot a fire extinguisher or get stunned by a Zofia, the override for not being able to switch your weapons just gets disabled for some reason. Maybe they used an ID system and mixed up the numbers or something. Anyways, the way I fixed this was just don't turn off the override. It's pretty simple, actually.
Shut the fuck up, you fucking bitch.
And I remember this lasting for a long ass while, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and literally everyone did this. The Defuser in Siege can sometimes break in very mysterious ways, may I say. And the way usually the bomb in these games work, I'm gonna go ahead and mention Counter-Strike Source's hammer editor, as for some reason the Source 2 one doesn't work on my PC. So you're getting this instead. In here, whenever you want to actually make a bomb site, you have an object called a funk bomb target. You make it to the boundaries of the site, and then you can compile the map, wait another 14 hours for CSS to load, then you can plant and defuse the bomb in those locations. In Siege, I'm 99% sure they use the same idea, and why you can defuse here is because the boundaries of the trigger for planting are pushed a little farther than needed, so you can just plant in fucking Dickville or whatever. Wait, how the fuck did you get up here? Another thing I want to add with the diffuser, please don't do this. I'm just bringing this out to the public, so maybe, I don't know, Siege finally fixes this for once. I've literally seen videos that are like fucking 2 months old about this. As in Osa and Clubhouse, on top of the roof, you can clip through the map and drop the diffuser in this fucking AC thing, so your teammates physically cannot defuse the bomb anymore. They can't grab it from inside. This is like throwing the bomb outside the map in CSGO. Holy shit. Also, doing this would probably get you most likely banned for 2 weeks or something. I think it's called a TOC breach or something. I don't know, man. Here's a very simple answer to this question. There are too many variables and scenarios to count. So the devs may have overlooked some things. And usually, that's just the explanation to a lot of bugs that happen in this game. But this seriously is just the best example out of all of them. What Rappel is in Siege, it's a very dynamic type of function that honestly bewilders me as an amateur at coding and stuff like that. This shit is actually unbelievable to a chud like me. If it wasn't as dynamic as it is, Siege devs would have to add a bunch of triggers around the map that would exceed like over 1 billion, bro. Okay, imagine how many walls, roofs, and random dents, and even the new corner sprinting function that they added. Okay, you have that in your head? Now all of these functions in over 20 maps. Could you imagine if all of these were triggers? Man, the devs would probably take like 4.5 years just to fucking add a map. Instead, what they did was develop a generally really good and instant use function that doesn't need these triggers around the map. What did you just call me?
What do you mean by that?
There are these specific problems with the enter from above animation that for some reason interpolates your goofy ass through the outback roof. Rubber banding has been a problem in Siege since its beta, and this is one of those that are in most multiplayer games. But in Siege, it's different in a way that I'll try to explain and probably fuck up and spread misinformation about or something. How Siege's networking works is something that is so complex and so fucking retarded that it might be impossible to understand. Okay, but I'll try to sort of explain it. Imagine that you shoot a wall in a specific way that, to the client, it looks 100% passable. You can pass through this. And you do, but a couple ticks later, you get rolled back to the same position that you had before you passed through the hole. This probably means, another educated guess here, is that the server doesn't think this place is passable, as maybe it checks every some amount of ticks if you pass that location. That's why it's kind of delayed is what I'm guessing. But in Siege X, this has been quad fucking tripled for me, bro. I sadly don't have many clips of this, but I swear, this shit happens to me like 50 times a day. This is probably done in good faith, since rubber banding combats cheaters with movement hacks, so these guys can't just phase through walls and fuck everybody, but this is really bad. This clip, I'm showing over and over again, but look, it actually cost us the round. This is another one of those that I really can't fix, because it's usually embedded within the netcode. A new fad garbage strat that the new R6 YouTube chuds are spreading around is combining a Melusi bub and a Maestro's evil eye to make the Melusi bub invincible. What do you mean invincible? I can still see her. Yeah, invincible, sure. Even if there are like 300,000 counters to this, like Ash, Zofia, grenades, my balls, bro. Did you think of that? By the way, this can be done with any deployable thing that isn't throwable. So Jaeger's ADS, or even bulletproof cameras, whatever you can do with those. And with more testing, it also doesn't work on walls. You have to have it on the floor, which is a little goofy. Weirdly enough, this only happened to my friend like 2 times, and he clipped it once. Usually, this is how smokes roll. As you can see, the smoke loses almost half of its velocity when it touches the ground. As usual, right? This is also how it works with grenades and other types of throwables. But now, here's my friend's clip. What the f*** was that? It flew into Nuketown, bro. I'm guessing that it touched some geometry in the map that doesn't count towards the movement debuff that smokes get once touching anything, but I had no idea. Before really ending this video, I just wanted to say that Ubisoft has a very good and competent dev team. And this isn't a video just to bash them and shit like that, no, definitely not. As I said in the beginning, these guys are like probably better than me 1,000 times. And this is a hobby, not a job. Those are very different things, because hobbies, you know, you have a thing for them. You want to actually do the hobby. But a job? Come on, bro. My code was incredibly sloppy. This video was made just to figure out how to stick objects onto terrain, because I couldn't do that on Malmo for some reason. Why do these guys not push updates quickly? Well, maybe this is a theory, but it's because of timing the updates, since usually updates from Ubisoft are like 2 to 3 gigs, even if they wrote like 1 line of code in. Steam updates in blocks, and I had this a lot with my game, even if it was made in Unity and not an Anvil Next or whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah, a bunch of nerd stuff. Arthur, can you shut the fuck up? Great question, Dutch. I worked at Blizzard for 20 years. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully everyone enjoyed this video, and I've had a lot of fun making it too. Like I said, join the Discord, like and subscribe, fuck the notification bell.